Welcome to Quick Shots, a short format traditional archery podcast, where we introduce you to some of the world's most influential traditional archers, and occasionally, some random dudes. Help keep this content ad-free by supporting us on patreon.com/archerygeek. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, archerypass.com, for all your traditional archery needs.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Quick Shots. I'm your host, Mick Chambers. I'm here with Robby Weissinger. Did I say that right?
Yep, Weissinger. You got it.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You've been tearing it up lately, and I'm glad you agreed to do the show. We had your girlfriend on the show the other day, which I thought was fantastic. She did a great job. So the bar's pretty high, man. The bar's pretty high. Bragging rights for who's the better speaker in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Hey man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you get started off in archery?
So archery in general, I started off kind of bow hunting a little bit. Got a couple hunting bows. I didn't really get to do much with it from the start in terms of hunting, but you know, it was a place to start. I was shooting, learning how to shoot, and then my middle school got a NASP team. So I'm what one would call a NASP baby. We got to shoot the Genesis bows at 10 and 15 meters.
Nice.
And I really got in to both hunting and shooting NASP. So both sides, hunting and competitive. When I turned 16, there was a coach in Eastern Iowa that said, "You should try Olympic." And he handed me a recurve with a sight and stabilizer, said, "You're going to shoot the state tournament this Sunday." I think it was like Thursday or Friday or something like that. And he gave me like a couple days to get ready, shooting 40 to 60 yards. Because my age division, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And I fell in love with it. It was awesome.
Cool.
So I hunted, shot NASP, and shot Olympic recurve through high school. And then when I got to college, obviously NASP dropped off. So I just bow hunted and shot Olympic recurve. Mm-hmm. I shot Olympic all through college.
Wow.
And then COVID hit, all tournaments stopped. Yeah. And I was like, there's no need to shoot a couple hundred arrows a day. So I put it down, focused on some other stuff like exercising, biking, you know, just kind of doing my thing. And eventually I was missing something. I'm like, you know what? I don't get to shoot a bow as much as I want. So I'm going to get back into this. I tried recurve Olympic again, and I was like, this isn't as fun as when I was doing it before. So I just took all the sights off.
Cool.
Got to hang out with all the bare bow people, and that led to me trying shooting some more traditional style. Started hunting turkeys with a recurve, and then this past fall I started hunting deer with a recurve.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you had a nice doe this year, at least one picture anyway.
Was a button.
Was a button bug? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Kansas, we let those walk. I don't know in Iowa, you guys don't let those walk, but I'm teasing you. I'm just kidding. Whatever's brown goes down usually. That's when you get a chance, you shoot them. Yep. Hey, dude. So that is so we have a convert really from. It's surprising though that you didn't say, you know what, I'm going to do compound. Did you contemplate compound at all? Or?
What really got me into Olympic was like, I would remember like my brother's 2 years younger. We would just, when we shared a room, we would sit and watch people like Rhea Wild, Jesse Broadwater. And then I remember watching Brady at I think it was the 2012 Olympics and some of the World Cup stuff that was around that time. And I'm like, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got
into the Olympic side,
the recurve stuff. Yeah.
And
I think that shooting with fingers, you know, that kind of translated a little bit.
Hey, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I thought I turned my mic off on you. Sorry about that. Hey, listen. So I think that's interesting because Brady, I think, has brought a ton of people into the sport. I mean, that dude's a rock star. I mean, but that's my segue into you being a rock star. You're 23 years old, 24 maybe. How old?
Anything. I think I'm 24.
let's
think I'm-
let's
Yeah.
do the math. Do the math, man.
24. It's 24.
All right, so you're 24 years old. You just had a stellar weekend last weekend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I got the result I wanted. I didn't quite perform the way I knew I was capable of doing. I trained really hard leading up to it.
What is it? Tell us the event, the whole thing.
So it was field nationals, and then it was the world team and world games trials. So the way that event is held is the field nationals first, and they take the top 8 and they go into 12 targets of trials. The top 8 shoot 8 targets, and then it's narrowed down to the top 4 who shoot 4 final targets.
Mm-hmm.
And high score cumulative the entire weekend. The top 3 spots make the world championship team. Top spot makes world games.
And
so
how'd you do?
First day, unmarked. I shot fairly well. Not quite where I wanted to be. I think I was like a 317 or something.
Okay.
And with my ability, how I know I can shoot it, I could have been 330, 335, maybe 340 if everything really went perfect. It was a tough course to navigate, like going from target to target. Kind of treacherous terrain, especially for some individuals that may not have been in the best shape to be hiking in these surprisingly tough hills in South Dakota.
Yeah.
So the targets, for the most part, there was definitely some very challenging ones, shooting very steep up and very steep down. Nothing you couldn't, if you put in some time to practice beforehand, nothing that you couldn't solve within an arrow. You know, if you made a really good shot, you'd be able to solve it.
Yeah.
So you could at least get close. But yeah, just navigating that. There was ropes, and there were several times where we had to shoot like one person at a time because there was like a risk of falling down the hill.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So that was day one, unmarked course. Yardage was from what, like 5 yards out to 50?
5 to 45.
5 to 45. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think like the closest target we shot was 6, and the furthest from the way I ranged found it was like 42. So they didn't really push us out past out to the max, but they did put some over 40.
Okay. And then day two, how did that go? So then to day one, where are you sitting in the standings?
So day one, I was sitting second.
Okay.
Behind Cole Dunsing. Cole shot really, really well. He'd only shot one other field tournament, but he did not have a passport, so he was not eligible for the trials.
Right.
Which meant, you know, I was sitting first for the trials, but you don't go to a tournament like nationals, be sitting a few points out of first and be like, yeah, it's okay if I get second as long as I make the team. I was gunning for that top spot. Day two went all right. My execution was a little bit off. I was able to maintain not what I would call a healthy lead. I didn't, like, it wasn't, by the end of the day two, it was not by a lot that I was ahead. It was all pretty tight in those top 3. So it went well. It was a great group of guys, fantastic group of guys.
Yeah.
Which made, you know, everything way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get in those groups of guys where everything's super tense and yeah, it's not my speed. We're all talking about hunting, shooting the shit, helping each other out, and I think that's how it should be. So I was on the top bale with Ryan Davis, Matty Yaka, and then Cole.
I thought you said they were all good guys. Like
they're all good guys.
Yaka's a pain in the ass, man. That dude.
He can be, but he's
he definitely is.
He's one of my best friends in Barebow.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. It's funny though. Yeah, he says a lot of nice things about you too. to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lying to you, I promise.
I'm sure that's not true. Bear Bow's always been pretty good. You guys always treat each other really well in competitions. You know, it's not the hard competition. I know I hear you. Like you're right. You are going out there to be first place, but you're enjoying it while you're doing it. Which is cool, which is really
And the
interesting.
thing is, like, whoever wins, it's totally in their control. Like the skill level between myself and Matt and Ryan and Cole, we're all right there. Same with the people that were on the bale behind us. It was Steve Oakley, Rick Stonebreaker, like all of those guys.
Yeah.
If you catch us on a good day when we can control our shots and do what we're supposed to, most people won't be able to touch you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of how we are in that. You know,
and you got a bit of a disadvantage being left-handed, right?
I know. Yep.
You have to curve it around the other way. All right, so we're good. We're closing in on day 2. You had a good day 2.
It was solid.
Good solid execution. Okay.
It's another one of those days where it could have been, 330 plus had I really been on doing what I should have been doing.
Okay.
So
and
that's
then
something that I really tried to focus in on, especially after this tournament. We can talk about that.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that, but let's get through this tournament. Tell us where you got to on day 3. So by the end of day 2, you're sitting in first place.
Yep. So I was sitting first place at nationals. Like I said, not by a lot. If we could have swung either way between those top 3 spots, if we would have shot like 2 or 3 more targets, who knows what it would have been.
For sure.
But, by the time the 24 targets were done for that day, I came out on top, and then we took a break, a USA archery break, so a little longer than it should have been. And then we jumped into the first 4 targets of trials. And I was pretty confident. Our first target was a bunny. I think I shot like 3 4s or something. And I had enough of a lead where I knew I just need to shoot.
So for people who don't know, the bunny's the small one.
Yep. The bunny was a small one, and it was a 15-meter bunny. So it was the 20 centimeter target. So a 2 centimeter 6 ring at 15 meters. Yeah. It's very hard. That's a tough target.
Super difficult.
So my mindset was just shoot solid shots. You don't have to do anything special. Just go out and shoot average, and what happens.
Right.
And that's how it started out. And then I started to get a little more panicky as we went through it, and I wasn't making as good as shots. The bunny target I executed well. We went to a 45-meter target.
Okay.
And that one went fine. Target number 3, I walk up, and it's a 25-meter 40 centimeter face. So there's a 40 centimeter, then a 40 centimeter. And I walk up first, and I put an arrow in the bottom target when I'm supposed to shoot the top.
Shoot the top target first. Yeah.
Yep. So I just draw up, shoot. It wasn't like a great shot, but it hit a 3. So I was a little disgruntled already. Then I remember, top target. That sucked. So, yeah. So then shoot a couple more shots. They didn't land where I wanted to. Whatever. Turn it off. Going to the next target. It was a 5-meter bunny, and then I 18'd it. So I shot 666, and
wow,
perfect. That's a good way to end day 1 on the trials, because that was the first 4 targets.
Yep.
Standings really didn't change a lot. Standings didn't change at all, I didn't think. I think Matt caught up to Ryan and I a little bit, but that was about it for the standings. Day 3, we shoot 4 more targets, and then they cut down to the top 4, and then the final 4 people shoot their final 4 targets.
Mm-hmm.
We opened up with a 20-meter target on a 40 centimeter face. Everybody shot pretty well on that.
Okay.
And then we went to the next target, was a 40-meter 80 centimeter face target. I walk up, I saw the compound pegs at 50, and whatever worked through my head, I walked up to the stake thinking it was 45. So I shot not 1, but 2 arrows. for 45 meters at a 40 meter target. 2 high twos right next to each other.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, this is crazy. Why is it doing this? Because I had the last target on the unmarked day, I had ranged it for 42. I was very confident in that guess. I shot it for 42 and it hit a high 2. And I'm like, that shouldn't have gone there. That was a good shot. That should have been a lot closer to the middle. So then I just shoot it for 40 and then I pop 2 low 4s. And I'm like, nope, that was a 42 meter target.
Yeah.
So I need to trust myself. So after I shot the first arrow for 45 at a 40 meter target, I was like, just trust yourself. Just make another good shot and it should land close. Right next to the first one. And I'm like, dude. And I just looked down at the stake and I'm like, oh no. Whatever. So shot another one. That one landed fine. Went through the rest of the other 2 targets for the trials, shot fine, and they cut us down. Our target assignments didn't change. So people from the bale behind us didn't move up, or we didn't fall back enough to where that cutoff would change the people we were shooting with.
Right.
So it was still myself, Ryan, Maddie, and Stonebreaker.
Okay.
And again, we took another USA Archery long break, going into the final 4 targets, and the wind started to pick up when we were in a more exposed portion of the field.
Okay.
Mindset was the same. I was still leading, and the wheels kind of just fell off the bus for me.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I shot 3 pretty good shots on the first target. Second one, I just started getting a little flinchy, and which is something that I've been working on. Is I need to execute instead of I'll be up here and just like right at the last second, it'll go low left. So I made a couple bad shots, and I wasn't exactly keeping score in my head, but I knew the way that Ryan was shooting and Matt was shooting that they were catching up, if not ahead.
Yeah.
And that got to me a little more than it should have. We went to a 50 meter target at 80 centimeters, which is one of the tougher targets.
Yeah.
That's the max for that distance.
Yep.
And I walk up and I think I shoot like a good 5, and then I shoot a 4. And then on the last arrow, I have another one of those big hiccups, and I tried to hold on to it, but it just barely slipped off, and the arrow landed in the dirt right in front of the target. And I was like,
oh shit.
Man.
Yeah.
So all throughout the trials, it was kind of just me making silly mental mistakes. But it's good that, you make those and you learn from them and you grow from them. So I know when I go shoot this next tournament, I'm going to be mentally stronger because I'm pinpointing exactly what I need to work on.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when the dust all settled, I ended up in the 3rd spot for the trials with Matt and Ryan tying for the 1st spot. Matt did not sign up for the World Games.
No, he did not. Yeah.
So Ryan took the World Games spot, and he's going to do a fantastic job representing us. And we have a pretty kick-ass team that's going to go back to Yankton in October.
Just congratulations. First of all, that is, dude, for your age, you have such a level of maturity when it comes to archery. It's outstanding to listen to you. And I know not a lot of my listeners, there are some really, intense barebow, but there's a lot of recurve guys and longbow guys, and there's some beginner archers and that sort of thing. And you're very detailed, and I hope they went with us on the whole journey through that, because
I hope so.
It's really important that they did, because I think that just hearing you talk, and even if you don't understand it, the level of maturity that you have at your age to be able to do that, just amazing, dude. I love it. I just think that your dedication, commitment to the sport, to barebow is fantastic, man. So congratulations. To me, that's a win. That's a win from last week. So great job, man. I love it. And I'm hoping like right now we can we can talk a little bit about how you have that success. Like, I'd like to understand, your shot process and, how do you approach a target? How do you set up? How do you know when to release all those or not, or whatever Zen you use to make a good shot. But when you're getting a perfect shot, and it can be on 3D, it can be on indoor, it can be field, just take us through your shot process.
So my shot process really begins long before you step out onto the course,
Okay.
whatever you're shooting. When I'm preparing for a tournament, I'll do journaling. So I'll write down exactly what I want to happen. I'll write down like self-affirmation comments, like it's like me to do. So it's like me to hold steady right underneath what I want to hit and execute strong shots. And I write that down on a note card. I put that in my pocket. And every time like I touch the note card, if I'm at work or if I'm doing something, I'll pull it out and I'll read through a few of the cards. And it's just like kind of hardwiring my brain to like know that this is what's going to happen. I do a lot of visualization as well. This is an obsession for me. Archery is it's constantly on my mind and never goes away. So like the amount of times that I walked out on that course in Yankton in my head and I executed perfect shots, even though I didn't really know what the course looked like. I had, an idea. They're all black and yellow targets, and I know the distances. So like the amount of times that I went through the course in my head and executed perfect shots, the amount of times that I won that tournament before I ever stepped onto the line, I can't even count. And that's what I do for most tournaments. I visualize myself winning. So I really believe it in my heart that I can go out there and I can do that. Even if I fall flat on my face. And I've had that, I walk out there thinking that, okay, if I do what's expected, nobody's gonna beat me because I'm gonna be out there and I'm just gonna shoot my shot and it's gonna go where it's supposed to. And at the end of the day, it'll turn out how I want.
I like that.
And I really believe that, which makes when I'm doing what I'm supposed to, that makes my job way easier out there because I try not to worry about those things. Not saying I don't, because I definitely do worry about those things more than I should, but it's something I'm training myself more and more to get out of. So in the shot itself.
Let me stop you there for a second. You sound and talk like a champion.
That took a long time to get to.
You just do. And I want to let that sink in for people who are listening. You can't go up to a target and go, like, for example, you can't say, every time I get to a turkey, I five a turkey every time I get to a turkey, you're already done. You're not even saying that. You're even before you get to the course, it's like, know what? If I shoot my shot, it's going where I want it to go. And I love it. You sound like a champion. Keep going.
That particular part took a really long time and it still takes a lot of constant progress. Yeah. So what people might see is that I jumped into barebow last year. I've been shooting barebow a little over a year. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to podium or be in the top 10 at every national event that I've shot at.
It's awesome.
Right. And trying to remember where I was going with
well,
that.
you were gonna talk about actually get into the physical shot process. I think it's good, and it's a good point that you're making is like, because of your mental game, the reason why. Go ahead, you got it.
So I remember. So I've stepped out and I've shot and I've placed reasonably well at all of these tournaments, all these national events or local events. But for a long time before that, I really sucked. It was really bad.
Okay, why?
I was learning.
Okay.
I was young and dumb. So like the maturity thing you're talking about, that was definitely not always there. I used to be this cocky kid that used to think he knew everything and definitely didn't. And with experiences, being humbled at several events, I was able to really learn about what's important to take from a tournament. And when you learn the good things to take from a tournament to help you grow, it really streamlines your entire process. Along with that, making the connections when you go to these events with certain people can really streamline stuff too. A large part of whatever success I have had and will ever have, I will attribute to the people that came before me, because right when I got started, I think day one, I think I messaged, trying to think, 3 different people that I knew that have won stuff and are good at this. I messaged Spanky Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Cooley,
Yeah.
John Demmer.
Okay.
And I've talked to all of them. I've talked with a whole bunch of other people that have come before me, shot really, really well. And I've learned and I've grown because of what they've been able to share with me.
And that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
and I actually had to comment today. Actually, I don't think Chrissy will mind me saying, but I was talking to Chrissy Lyons today on the phone. And we were talking about, sorry to bring this up in your interview, but your girlfriend and Kaylin, and we were talking about how great she was shooting and how good she was shooting. And she feels like Chrissy was saying, like, yeah, she's got Robby there, and you're a fantastic. And I talked to her and she goes, it's, you know what, you don't do, like, you guys kind of, it's tough when you're a couple or something like that, and learning from each other. But I think through osmosis and learning, just watching you shoot and just being so successful, I think that breeds that in the person that you're close to. So so you're helping her out, and you're saying Spanky and Demmer are helping you out. I think that's fantastic, man. What a way to share. And you're their competition.
Yeah, exactly. And, I don't know. I'm sure there are guys in the Olympic division and compound that would be helpful as well if you asked, if you made a relationship. But yeah, outside of just seeing each other at like a half dozen tournaments, I never really knew John very well, and I was able to message him and talk to him. I've been friends with Spanky for quite a while, and he's happy to help. He helped Kaylin start off too.
Yeah.
Just really great people in Barebow.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
So that's also a big part of the quick development.
Yeah. So okay, so go through your physical shot process with us.
So my physical shot process, we're gonna say, because field is my favorite game by far, we're gonna go with field. So the first part is when I step up to a stake, I try to get decent footing. I try to find my footing where I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to walk through this pretty detailed.
Okay, no worries. Keep going.
So I find my footing, and then I'll go up to range. So I use my pinky. I pull back like this, and based off the target size, I will count rings and just do basic simple math to figure out the distance. And for the most part, I'm within a meter. Okay. And then I'll kind of look at the target to see if I have to make any cuts. Uphill stuff, usually I cut a meter, and that seems to hit pretty close. Downhill stuff kind of just depends. On that specific course in Yankton, I didn't have to cut any more than like 3 meters. But that's just, I'm still learning some of that stuff too. I had a couple mistakes. Anyway,
it's funny. It's funny you talking in meters. That's what I'm laughing at. That's what I'm smiling at.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of, you got to learn that lingo. And I'm transitioning back to yards now with 3D.
With 3D,
it's still in meters, but I can see yards better than meters.
Okay, keep going. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks. Sorry,
I evaluate the target for whatever distance, whatever cut that I decide to make. And I make a committed shot to it. I go to my crawl, set my grip, and when I set up, I kind of follow Frank McDonough's school of thinking of getting everything nice and straight, and then just pulling straight in, and then having a nice, calm follow through. Nothing big, just nice, whatever my hand wants to do with a gentle reach to the target. So when I'll get set up, come down low a little bit, and then I'll come up to anchor, I'll find that anchor right exactly where it needs to be, up against my cheekbone. I'll bring this elbow back as far as I can, and then I acquire my target. So when I acquire my target, most of my shot, my physical shot, should be about done. And what the part that I've been working on is I get on my spot, I get the aim, and I get it to settle down. And then I try to more or less forget about it and just kind of look at it while I try to run a shot.
Okay.
And it's a little bit of command shooting. I'll go through a checklist of stuff in my head. It's like, okay, this is good, that settled down. Okay, whenever. And then shot breaks.
Okay. Is that what that means? That's the first time I'm hearing that term, command shot.
Yeah. So like I'm deciding when it's going, right? It's really
okay.
hard. It's really hard for us when we don't have a clicker or release to have like a surprise shot.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's people that would argue that, but I have not been able to figure it out. So I just make sure that everything's in the step the way it's supposed to. And if I run through the steps, and it usually goes pretty close to the middle.
That's great. And are you able to keep so you said earlier you put your tip just below where
Yep,
you want
I lollipop.
you lollipop it.
Yeah. So for 3D, I've been more experimenting with trying to put it closer to the 11 instead of like lollipopping the 10 ring. When I shot ASAs last year, I just lollipopped the 10 ring.
Hey, can I ask you a question? This is going to seem weird. When was the last time you were at an eye doctor?
An eye doctor?
Yeah. Like do you know what your vision is? Do you know what your vision is?
Like 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Brady Ellison's got this amazing vision. And
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do a survey. Like I'm going to do a survey on what because guys that shoot really great like you just have better vision too. It helps to have good vision.
Variable that makes a big deal. When you shoot like 70-meter recurve stuff, I don't
Yeah,
really think
maybe not. What about
an arrow on a 3D target.
yeah.
That makes a difference. And
And
I
then
know
that's what triggered me. That's what triggered me when you said I'm going to put it closer to the 11. I'm like, I'm 53 years old, man. I'm like, I can't see an 11 ring. There's just no way I can't see that. Unless
I
you're
can't always see it, but I know about where it's at.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I've been trying to hold it a little more on, and I've never shot any of this style of 3D before. I've never shot it unknown.
Really?
I've never shot at 11 rings. I've shot ASA, known distance, upper and lower 12s. That's
Oh
it.
wow. Okay.
So how next week will go, I don't know.
So tell us what you're doing next week.
So next week is the World Championship 3D trials.
Okay.
So
That's gonna be fun. That should be fun. Hey, listen, I want to get to your equipment too. I want to talk a little bit about your equipment. We're running out of time a little bit here, but what equipment are you shooting?
So I'm shooting a 25-inch Hoyt Exceed with Velos extra long limbs. So that makes a 73-inch bow. And then I'm shooting an AAE rest and then an AAE gold micro plunger.
Nice.
For arrows, Easton Pro Comps, 570 spine. I shot 70mm XS wings for field trials. I'm going to try these spider veins because my XS wings are nice, bright pink with an orange knock.
Yeah.
And
People are shooting at those.
I don't want to be really nice to people and mark up the middle if I hit it. So
it's a little gamesmanship there. And if people don't know what he's talking about, if you have honors and you shoot first on a 3D target and you hit an 11, now you're marking that 11, which we already talked about. Some people have a hard time seeing an 11, but if someone's put an arrow in there that's bright, that's an easier target to hit. It's much easier to hit the 11 at that point.
and for field, that arrow's fine because the middle's highlighted. It's nice and bright yellow.
Yeah.
Surrounded by black. So it's not like it really matters. It's more helpful for me if I'm off target.
Yeah.
In field. But for 3D, we shoot 2 arrows a target. If I understand this game correctly, if I read the rules right. So I don't really want other people to aim off my arrow if I put it in the middle, because as much as, I'm friends with all these people, I'm coming out here to win, just like everybody else is.
Everyone wants to come. You're not
look-
spending the money to go there and not want to win, Robbie. There's just no way.
If you look at the lineup, like I've got my work cut out for me. There's some really experienced and
there's no bad guys
rifle
going
shooters
next week.
there.
Yeah, there's no bad guys going
It's
next
gonna
week.
be a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping I learn a lot from it. So
Well, here's how about this? We'll send good luck, and anyone that listens to this, let's send Robbie some good luck. We appreciate you being on the show, brother. How can people get hold of you if they want to reach out and say hi?
So the easiest way is probably just going to be message me on Instagram or Facebook. If you just look up my name on Facebook, I'm sure you'll find me. And then Instagram is, I think it's Robbyhood 10X.
Yeah, we'll put it up here. We'll let people know who you are and how to get there. But yeah, congratulations on doing such a great job and being so good. And I'm like obviously so jealous that you're awesome like that. But I'm a little disappointed that you have to deal with Matt Yak all the time. That's too bad. But you know what? Spanky Brooks, focus on Spanky. Focus on Spanky. He's a great, great dude. Anyway, yeah. Why don't you get some facial hair? You need to.
Trust me, it does not look good. It does not look good as Spanky.
All right, man. Hunt the good stuff, everyone. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget to, check out archerypass.com. That's our sponsor for the channel. And Patreon. Check us out on patreon.com/Archery Geek. If you want to support the channel, this is ad-free stuff, guys. Try and support the channel if you can. Thanks very much. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.